So I'm Professor Julie Klinger. I'm an assistant professor of international relations here at BU. So one of the things that the research team that I was part of was looking at in the Himalayas was how increasing climate variability was impacting the agricultural yields and livelihood security of peasants. Far and away, the most significant climate influencer is the combustion of fossil fuels. Not only is there an overwhelming scientific consensus that this is causing climate change, but recently that minority 1.5 or 2% of scientists who claimed that their findings indicated that in fact you couldn't establish a link between fossil fuel combustion and human-induced climate change. Their data has since been discredited. They were relying on partial use of data, they were omitting significant portions of data sets, and basically propagating misinformation. Okay, so there's a couple of different things that contribute to sea level rise. So one is an overall global warming. So that means that the average temperature of the world is increasing by a couple or several degrees Celsius or up to 12 degrees Fahrenheit. The amount of construction that would be needed in order to keep cities as they are, but to protect them from sea level rise, it's estimated in the tens and hundreds of billions of dollars. So another thing that citizen groups are doing in response to the fact that major metropolitan areas, at least especially in the United States, aren't really planning for what's going to happen when sea level rises by 3 to 6 feet by the end of this century, is they are painting a blue line through neighborhoods and cities that demonstrates where the water will be at the end of this century. There are some pretty serious things that the city of Boston needs to take into consideration if it isn't already, which is what's going to happen to the airport. What's going to happen to the significant portions of the city that are composed of landfill, right, and so are particularly susceptible to flooding, porousness, liquefaction, that sort of thing. Yeah. And what's going to happen to the people who are impacted, right? What's the plan there? So these are questions that we have to start addressing, and they're not easy questions to address, but the sooner we start talking about them, the better. I think the good news here, and the lesson to learn, from the rise of the automobile, is that it took a tremendous effort on the part of lobbyists, citizens, policy groups, what have you, to transform the landscape of the United States such that it could even be feasible for automobiles to be the primary mode of transportation. So if we did that for the car, right, we can surely do that for something else.